Hello, hello. What's up? What's up? Let's see live. Don't see the live docs. Chats. Perfect, perfect. So I'm just double checking, make sure, and I'm live here. Don't see it. There we go. Welcome, everybody. My name is Mike DelPrete, Executive Director of the Arizona Real Estate Investors Association. And today I'm going to start a new series for the next 64 days in a row. I just committed to it, man. So if you don't know, if you follow me on Instagram at Michael DelPrete, I went 150 days straight live talking about wholesaling real estate. Here at AZREIA, our mission here is to provide networking opportunities, support, resources, education, market updates, government affair updates to the real estate investors here in the state of Arizona. So we cover all things real estate investing. I started off in this business wholesaling. So that is my specialty. Led me to start my flip career, led me to owning a rental portfolio, Airbnbs, lending money. So you go down this route of learning a lot of stuff over the years, and the more you learn and apply. But one thing that I will say that changed my life, and the reason I'm going to commit to 64 days of the success principles is this right here. Jack Canfield, The Success Principles. I read this book maybe 15 years ago, and there's 64 principles in this book, so I highly recommend reading it yourself, whether you do Audible or whatever it may be, and checking it out and applying what you learn. So what I wanted to do in this series is take a principle every single day, right, and then explain to you what I think it means and what Jack has written in the book, and then give you some real life scenarios in the real estate investing world. So I'll give you real life stories, examples that I've experienced, so you could take that principle, see how it applies to real estate investing, and hopefully it gives you some insight, some learning lessons that you could take on with you into your real estate career. So I'm just going to get something here for you. If you are interested in real estate investing, I have an ebook for you you can download. It's called Ideal. So one thing I would like you to look up is real estate investing is an ideal investment, meaning income, depreciation, equity, appreciation, and leveraging other people's money, resources, everything out there. So that's how I made it, is through following the principles also of being an ideal investment. So I just pop that in the chat. It's a free ebook for you to download. Very quick read, very simple read. Check that out. So I'll dive into the principles here, and I just want to make sure. So drop your questions in the chat if you have any about what I'm going to go over. So first, I just kind of want to really even just dive into the principle itself. So what's principle number one in the book, right? And this is and it's funny because even when I read this, in my late 20s, it blew my mind in a way. And so it sounds so simple. You're probably going to be like, why does this guy even think this is important, or why is it new to him? But I was so, I would say, what's the word? Aloof, maybe. And I was so set in my ways. I was, going down what you're taught, get a job, get a 401k, get ready to retire by putting money into your job's 401k that they're making money on, and one day you'll retire, sit there on your porch, and that's it, right? So I always knew there was something better in life, and through this series, we'll go through my personal experience in real estate. But the number one principle that we'll kick off with is take 100% responsibility for your own life, right? That's what we say here at the RIA. When you're buying a property, right? Or you're meeting new people here in the rooms, or you're evaluating deals, or you're going to jump into a transaction, you have to do your due diligence, right? And you have to take responsibility and understand everything about that deal, because you're cutting the check, right? Or you're borrowing someone's money to do the deal, or you're partnering with someone. You need to take 100% responsibility for your decisions that you're making in everything in life and in real estate. So just to kind of sum up and go over what Jack is saying in his to sum up his variation of it in the book, the principle emphasizes the power and importance of personal accountability. Jack encourages us to take full control of our actions, thoughts, and outcomes we experience in our lives. By doing so, we acknowledge that we are the architects of our destiny. The essence of this principle lies in the understanding that every choice we make, every action we take and refrain from taking, contributes to the situations we find ourselves in. Blaming circumstances on other people, or chalking it up to luck or fate, or you may have heard, oh, these are the cards I was dealt, you're taking power away from yourself and your future. So Jack says he created a formula, which I wrote down on my notebook at the time, and wherever I would take notes as I was going through this journey of becoming better and changing my life. E plus R equals O. So, which means event plus response equals your outcome. So every outcome we experience is a result of how we responded to an earlier event. So by choosing to respond differently to events, we can actively steer our lives towards the outcomes we desire. So in my situation, right, I was working 50 hours a week at Verizon Wireless, working in a cubicle, answering phones. It was a great company and all, whatever, but I didn't enjoy it. Didn't want to be there. Dreaded driving there every day. Hit the snooze button every day I woke up, and I had a crazy schedule. My days off were Sunday and Monday. I went into work at 2 in the afternoon, worked till 11 at night. But technically I was leaving for the hour drive and getting ready. So you're working 12 to 12, right? So, I didn't even get to see my kid wake up and go to school. You know what I'm saying? So, that is not what I was trying to do or trying to live. So, I had to change. That was my outcome. So the way I was responding to events was keeping me at my job. So I got to change those responses to events in my life to get better outcomes. So in summary, taking 100% responsibility means owning your experiences, learning from them, and realizing that we have the power to shape our future through the thoughts, words, and actions that we take. So as you jump in here, I'm live right now. Like I said, we'll be doing this every single day. Join my email list. You can download the ebook or drop your email in the chat, and I will give you a reminder of this broadcast every single day as we go over the 64 principles. So take 100% responsibility for your life. So if you're newer to real estate investing, you're looking for a way out of or to change your situation for the better. You don't have to quit your job. You don't have to burn the boats and go cold turkey. It is a route and it does work. However, the way I did it, I went full-time, part-time, and then quit my job, right? So it was over a year period where 6 months in of learning real estate investing, I went from full-time to part-time. And then the last 6 months, I fired my boss. So there's no right or wrong way to do this, right? Some of you might be getting into real estate investing just to have, buy one house a year, which I love that idea, right? So you don't have to be this, hey, I'm going to go buy Ferraris and Rolexes, and I need it tomorrow kind of attitude. You can do this at your own pace, and there is no right or wrong way to do this. So, so I had to start changing my responses to events. So event meaning I have my day off. Do I want to use my day off to lay on the couch, watch TV, whatever it may be, do some yard work? Or did I want to go read a book? Did I want to go do something in real estate, doing a real estate investing income generating activity? Apply what I'm learning, meaning maybe go knock on foreclosures, put bandit signs out, make phone calls to homeowners, do direct mail, try to figure out the business, go to networking events, meet other people that are doing what I or want to do and want to become. Get yourself around people that are who you want to become. So that's what I did. So that's the first thing. I first started on my drive to work. I would listen to whatever podcasts or radio, anything that appealed to changing my outcome. So, and it doesn't happen overnight. This is a process that you got to continuously do every single day. You have your brain where you're conditioned to operate a certain way, right? It's no one's fault, right? It's not your parents' fault. It's not your grandparents' fault. It's not your teacher's fault, right? So it's like you just have this way of thinking and operating. And it's just like any muscle on your body. If you want it to get bigger, stronger, you have to work it out. So I think it's called neurons that fire together, wire together. So you need to recreate these wires in your brain. So if it's about real estate investing and financial education, you have to build that muscle and that skill set. And there's no way to do that unless you take the action to learn and apply this information. So taking 100% responsibility for your responses. So when you have that free time, what are you doing? When someone that doesn't own a house tells you you shouldn't invest in real estate, what are you doing, right? Or are you listening to the person that has 10 rental properties? How are you looking at this? So start changing your responses. Hey, the people that you hang out with, right? You don't have to not hang out with them anymore, right? You might want to just take less of their information. You can still love them, still hang out with them, but if they're not investors, it's going to be hard to become an investor if you're not around investors. So when these responses and situations happen in your life, what I would like to say, or when something doesn't go your way, right, even outside of real estate investing, the first thing we normally do, or most people do, is blame, shame, or justify that situation. So they're blaming the weather, they're blaming the other person, they're blaming their teacher, they're blaming their boss, they're talking down, they're shaming themselves, right? You're saying you're not good enough, internal, right? So blame's out, and shame is in. So you're letting yourself down, you're beating yourself up. Also, there's justifying. You're making up excuses as to why you are not doing what you really want to do in real estate investing. You're just justifying the reason to make yourself feel comfortable in your current situation and not to get out of that situation. So one thing I could kind of jump into, I got a couple things, right? I could break down me personally in real estate investing. Lots of experiences where I needed to take 100% responsibility. One, quitting my job, right? I had a mortgage, I had family, I had a son, wife, right? So if I'm going to quit my job and count on this investing career where there's no safety net, right? I had to take responsibility into my own hands and bet on myself that I can do this, right? And it's just like riding a bike. Once you start to do something, you get better at it, right? And you realize, you looking back, like, oh, that wasn't that bad. So that was a huge time where I really had to commit to that one. This one principle got me there. So let me think of a real estate scenario, right? So I'm trying to think of it. I have a deal I'm working on right now where I structured what's called a seller carryback. Now, I didn't really lose. I almost lost the deal, right? Almost lost it. And I'm going to give two scenarios. So the seller, there's certain ways you could approach homeowners. I took this one because it's going to be a second home, and also an investment where we're going to do like long-term, stays, or not long-term stays, but like 30-day rentals. I went at the pace, and I didn't treat it like a normal seller where I maybe, advise them as the changing in times in the market, or maybe ask questions differently. I got a little emotional. Real estate's all about numbers, right? Not emotions. So since this was in an area, in a place where I will be utilizing the place as well, I kind of took a different approach. So the people that had owned the house had inherited because one of their parents passed away. So I didn't, I was, they weren't ready. They weren't in a rush. So it took about 4 months to negotiate of going back and forth. So I was just lenient. I was laid back on it. We had a good deal. We had a good relationship. They said they're not shopping around. They weren't looking for any other buyers. We agreed that I was a good fit. So I just kind of was lax on the deal. So I'm going back and forth at their pace. Yes, sir. Whenever you want to go, it's just treating it like that versus when you're dealing with motivated sellers in our business, you got to be urgent. You got to make moves quick and you got to push the deal forward. So I was a little lax. So what happened was Thursday night, we had a conversation. We had a verbal agreement to go forward on the final terms of the deal. And I was like, great, I'll have the contract for you tomorrow. Normally, in a normal situation, I would have wrote that contract that second. If it was like a wholesale deal or a flip or just a smoking deal, I would have wrote it that second and they would have had it before they went to bed that night or when they woke up in the morning and it would have been signed. Since it was such a lax situation, I waited to the afternoon to 1 o'clock the next day to write it. And as I sent the text to the owner and said, hey, it's on its way. The contract is on its way. Look out for it. And even in my head, I was like, hey, sign it. You could just sign it when you're ready. I was assuming I'll give them over the weekend because it was Friday. The text I get back says, hold on. Hold on there, Mike. This is really weird. We just got an offer 10 minutes ago. No one's ever called us about the house or offered us. It's off market. It's not with an agent. It's not on MLS. So they were like, we want to review this deal. And I was like, I got angry, man. I was like, what? You know what I mean? Like all this time we've been working together. I thought we had a deal. We were on the same page. I waited for you. I didn't, I already bought my LLC. Like, I was getting emotional on it and I was a little upset because I thought we had like this rapport and this agreement that we've been working on for months. And I'm like, and I started catching myself like, why'd he do that to me? Why are they doing this? That's not fair. You went back on your word. That's not how we do it. All these, I'm blaming the person. Then I started going to myself like, what did I do? Why didn't I just treat this, right? I'm shaming. Now I'm just like, why didn't I just do this the way I usually do it? Right. And then you start justifying, like I said, making up excuses, right? Well, it was it was a lax situation. So that's why I did it. That's why I didn't rush it, because I would have lost the deal. So I'm doing all these excuses in this situation, right? So where I almost lost the deal. So I sat back and I said, wait, I gotta take 100%. I'm literally about to do a review on the principle, take 100% responsibility for your own life. So I said, let me go backwards here, right? Just even just take a breath. Anytime you want to get into a heated moment, just take a second and just breathe and think about the situation. Change your response again. Change your response to the event so you get a different outcome. So I said, wait up. I wanted to text this guy like, that's messed up. You've been backing up on I was just thinking of everything, right? So, no, cool it. Hey, think about the situation. So when you go through these situations and you're ready to start changing your responses to these events, you learn. If you have self-awareness and you don't lie to yourself, you stop making excuses, you'll reevaluate the situation and go, what really happened? Why are we in this situation? What could have I done better in this situation to make this deal work? So you'll learn something, right? So you always learn on failure. Failure is feedback, right? So you learn something, right? I learned that I didn't handle it like I know as a professional real estate investor, how I handle my real estate deals. I got sidetracked because I got emotional on it and I just treated it differently than what I'm accustomed to doing, right? So I got to take responsibility on it. That's my fault. That's my fault that the deal wasn't under contract. Because think about it. when at Thursday night, I should have wrote it because that's what I always do. I should have wrote it. He literally said, "Hey, I got an offer 10 minutes before you text me to say that my offer is on the way." So if I wrote the offer on Thursday night, I was like, "Oh, you got it. It's in the inbox. Check it out." There's a good chance it could have been signed Thursday night, and then I would have been opening up escrow on Friday rather than writing the contract, and it would have been a legal binding contract, and that offer wouldn't have even mattered. That's my fault. I have to take 100%. So I learned something, and I also gained experience. Learning that type of stuff by taking these principles, learning them, understanding them, and applying them, you create these new experiences. So which are your event plus response equals outcome. So you're going to start changing your responses to situations, which gradually starts changing your outcomes. Okay. So now I had a way of responding to events in real estate. I changed that response the wrong way. And then I made a mistake, realized it, rather than getting mad and arguing with the guy and blowing up the deal and saying, I'm taking my deal off the table, it's done, forget you. Kept my cool, realized it was my fault, let the cards play out the way they did, responded differently rather than angry. He then switched back, came back to me, signed the contract, right? So in these experiences, they're not in podcasts, they're not in books, they're not on people's Instagram feeds or whatever it is. You got to put out you only can experience this stuff. So start changing your responses to the events in your life. And you'll notice slowly, it's a long game. It's day by day. It's inch by inch that you notice your outcomes will start changing. And then it's crazy, after 12 years in this business, looking back and all these adjustments, totally different person. You're going to change. You're not going to be the same person you were last month. You are not going to be the same person you were last year. Yes, some beliefs and core values will be there, of course, but like the way you do business and the people you hang out with, the way you react to things is going to change and get you better outcomes. So event plus response equals outcome. So if you like what you're hearing, definitely subscribe to our AZREIA channel for more real estate investing information. Like this, reshare it, whatever you can do, I would appreciate it. So if always open to any questions, feel free to throw them in as we go. So I can even go over another scenario. Man, this one's a tough one. So I was even in a position where we lent money, right? So we lent someone $100,000 on a deal, right? Hard money type loan. Did all the proper documents, went over everything. The person buys a house. They're supposed to flip it next amount of time. And then after the property's sold, we get our money back and our interest and so on. This person was good at what they do, right? We invested in a different state. This person took us on a bus tour. We met their contractors, we met their property managers, we met their agents, we met their team. We went through 10 different houses, right? So we felt comfortable with this person. So we lent them the deal, and we did all the proper procedures to do so, right? And anytime you lend somebody money, you get a first lien position on the property. And you always go through title, right? Never lend somebody money in real estate investing by cutting them a check to their personal name or their business with no type of security, right? So no type of, hey, you and I are going to buy this house at this street. Just give me a check, and when I sell, you're going to get all this great stuff. That's never the way to do it. You want to have a contract between the both of you where you create a mortgage or a note, and that note is secured against the property, so they can't sell that house until they pay you back your money. And you always want to be in first lien position. You never want to be in second lien position. So not to kind of just to, cut the story shorter in a way, when the note was due, right, there's a due date on the note. Hey, and if they don't pay you on time, there's fees and there's penalties and stuff like that. if they don't pay you, or ultimately, like any bank, like Bank of America, or and when you get your home loan, we can foreclose on the property and take the property back. So, in short, right, I started getting phone calls like, hey, this gentleman, right? I did a deal with him and he hasn't paid me. I'm like, oh, and then I started hearing that. I was like, yeah, I don't know. I have a deal with him and it's in the process. It's almost due. As time goes by, then we're due. We didn't get our payment. And then they start having these scammers or types of people. They're just good at what they do, right? Hey, I'm a little behind, or they have all these mini excuses. Just give me another week, give me another month. Oh my God, this just happened, And when you trust a person, you give them some leeway, right? So you're like, okay, so now it's like 2 months after it's due. You're like, what's going on? Then I start getting a couple other phone calls from different people, like, oh, I lent them money, but they didn't they're not paying me back, whatever. So I'm starting to hear it more. So it's nerve wracking. So come to find out, the person's a scammer and they scam millions from probably hundreds of people for all I know. So what was unfortunate is, come to find out that the people that he was borrowing money from, they weren't getting lien positions on the house. They didn't know anybody better. You don't know what you don't know, right? That's why education in real estate investing is priority. You must educate yourself. You must get around the right people, which, and even, my learning lesson, I wouldn't say so much like I was blaming this one here. I had enough experience where I was like, he got me. he got me good, man. Like had the family thing going on it for him. The whole family was in play. The kid was in on it too. It was pretty wild, man. But I come to find out, he took money from other people. They didn't even get first lien positions on the property. Like, he took life savings, family's life savings, and with, I don't even know how he sleeps at night. So I look at it like, I should have, I'm trying to think of, like, I should have probably pre-qualified him better, right? What could I have done better? I probably should have got more referrals of who he's worked with, or asked more people in, the community or group that I was in, how their experience is going with him, right? I just said, hey, I'm an investor. The guy seems legit. I saw his projects. I'm getting first lien position. If not, I'll just foreclose. Even at that, you don't want, that's not like a sound, it's a plan. It will protect you, but like, that house is still vacant. He never renovated it. So I'm actually getting a vacant, when we foreclose, I'm actually getting a vacant house back that I have to go in and put the money in and do the work and make it profitable. That wasn't the plan, right? So I'm behind on my goals because of this job went wrong, right? So I also realized I probably shouldn't be lending money, right? Like, maybe I'm not ready for that. Maybe that's just not my forte. So it's a whole new learning process that I'm going through. But what could I have done? Right? What could I have done? I could have quit. That could wipe people. That's like some people's year salary, 2-year salary. Who knows? I could have just threw the the towel in, whatever you call it, right? And just quit and say, screw real estate investing. I quit, and had a different response to that situation, right? So no, man, you lick your wounds, you figure out, you go, how can I get through this? How can I make the best of this situation? How can I get the money back into my account? And what are the proper procedures to do so, right? So, I just didn't let it break me, because I always know things work out for the best, especially when you have the right intentions. You're trying to do the right thing with the right people. It always works out, even as frustrating. Like, think about it. 12 years in the business, over 700 deals, right? Never lost anybody's money, right? This was our money this time, but thank God, I lost my money. Or even if it was someone else's, I would work till I die to get that person their money back. But like, that's an ego blow. Think of, you know what I mean? Like, executive director of the largest real estate investing association in the country, and then you lose $100,000. Like, 12 years in the business, and you got hustled, right? So you feel kind of stupid, right? So, yeah, that sucked. It still does. So, but I'm still here, still doing deals, still wholesaling, still flipping, whatever it is. I did not let it stop me, right? So I didn't change my response and my attitude, and I owe it to this book, man. There's a lot of other books, man. This isn't the only book out there, but the 64 principles in this book shaped me, and it guided me as to a baseline and a foundation as to how do I need to be as a person and how I need to act to move forward. So, the link in the chat, ebooks.azreia.org/library. Like I said, it's all about education. So download there's probably like 10 ebooks in there, I think, from wholesaling, notes, flipping, landlord. There's very light information to expose you to the basics and fundamentals of real estate investing. Download that, check it out. I'll be doing this live every day for 64 days for the next 64 principles. The next principle we're talking about is be clear as to why you're here. Be clear as to why you are doing this, right? So I won't dive into that, but that will be tomorrow, which is Sunday. I'll be breaking that down. So I encourage you to download one of those ebooks. Link in the chat box, ebooks.azreia.org/library. Pick an ebook that best fits you, download them all, read them, get some questions. I'll show up here every day live on YouTube on this AZREIA page. Subscribe if you're on here, if you found this helpful or informative in any way. And I'll be back tomorrow to help you out. So if you bring your questions, bring your thoughts, buy the book. If you want to go over the book together on every chapter as we go over the next 64 days, we can do that as well. Otherwise, I'm done for the day. It's a wrap, and I will see you tomorrow talking about be clear why you're here on Jack Canfield's The Success Principles. Thank you.